At EDMARK, we believe in each child's potential to learn and delight in what children can achieve when they believe, "I can do it." To foster self-reliance and initiative, each EDMARK product puts students in charge of their own learning, developing the skills and confidence needed to think through any problem. Humor, fun, and a rich variety of proven educational methods prompt hundreds of teachable moments and treat each child as a unique learner. Activities extend intellect, creativity, and special talents. From preschool to high school, EDMARK products will ignite the curious mind for a lifetime of learning and success.
EDMARK is committed to offering educators designed to build diverse critical
Thinkin' Things Collection 1 offers 6 challenging learning activities to help children ages 4 through 8 build skills in problem solving, creativity, critical thinking, and memory.
Hey there, I'm Oranga.
Children strengthen auditory discrimination and visual memory as they improvise or repeat rhythmic patterns with Oranga Banga.
Can you play that?
Can you make the missing bird?
Kids learn about attributes, differences, patterns, and analogies when they put on their thinking caps to create the missing birds in feathered frames.
Thanks a lot.
Intellectual innovation soars with flying shapes when children explore, experiment, and construct using geometric shapes, motion, and sounds.
Hi there, I'm the Toonie Loon.
Toonie Loon invites children to repeat patterns and invent tunes of their own on the world's most unusual xylophones. For a fun-filled lesson in logic, drop in at the Fripple Shop.
Welcome to the Fripple Shop.
Whoa! Fripples to go! Stripes and curly hair, but not yellow.
That Fripple is not exactly what the customer wants.
By observing, contrasting, and recognizing logical relationships, your child can ensure that a happy Fripple will have a new home.
Thanks, dude!
In Thinkin' Things Collection 2, children ages 6 to 12 develop skills in listening, visual thinking, problem solving, and creativity.
Hey, I'm Oranga, and this is my band.
Children explore rhythmic notation as they compose for Oranga and his band, or accept the band's challenge to match the members to the rhythm lines they play.
Which line did I play?
Children build listening, memory, and observation skills playing Frippletration alone or with a friend as they choose either visual or auditory challenges.
Great job. Way to go!
2 to 3D blocks offers an amazing new environment where kids explore dimension and optical illusion. Two-dimensional pictures can be instantly mapped onto three-dimensional spheres, cones, and cylinders. Children can even erase part of the image and see through to the other side. This unique new set of tools will unleash your child's creativity. In Thinkin' Things Collection 3, children ages 7 to 13 strengthen deductive and inductive reasoning, synthesis, and analysis while building problem-solving skills essential for success.
Hi, I'm Stocktopus. Let's make a trade. These are your items. This is your goal. This is where you make trades. Click the items on the map that you want to trade away. Keep trading to reach your goal.
With the help of Stocktopus, observe patterns and plan trade sequences to exchange items with traders from around the world and achieve portfolio goals.
It's halftime!
Develop computer programming skills as you create a halftime show with cheerleaders, football players, or a marching band. In Photo Twister, look for visual clues and predict results as you line up a team of tiny green aliens to match a twisted image.
When your child first arrives on Airshow Isle, success depends on following directions. As the challenge level increases and the grow slide indicator moves up, your child must multitask, prioritize, and use resources efficiently. Many of today's professions, and even more in the future, will require these skills. For example, when we develop software at EDMARK, we split tasks so that employees can work in parallel. We prioritize program features to include the most valuable ones, and we choose the best engineer or artist for each task. When Airshow Isle challenges become more difficult, your child may experience some frustration and tell you that a goal is impossible. At this point, you can be a valuable learning partner. Help your child realize that real problem solving only begins when you don't know what to do. Encourage your child to keep trying. You might suggest working backwards from the goal, or making a list of all the possible ways to direct the air show. Persistence will lead to problem-solving success. While engaged in the fun of arranging fripples on Stadium Isle, your child is actually gaining hands-on practice with a concept known as decentralized systems. Decentralized systems are groups of interrelated objects in which each member affects the others.
Great job! Look at
These systems are important in such diverse fields as computer science, natural science, and the social sciences. Decentralized systems help us understand natural phenomena. For example, a flock of birds flying in formation doesn't follow a single leader. Instead, the actions of each bird affect the others in complex and interdependent ways, much as the fripples in the stadium affect each other. You can help your child make the connection between the decentralized systems on Stadium Isle and those you see around you. For example, at a sporting event, when one fan stands up to start the wave, that fan's actions affect neighbors on both sides, resulting in a whole that's greater than the sum of the parts. Solving mysteries provides great motivation for kids to practice thinking skills and research techniques. Finding the culprit behind each mystery is a multi-step process. Your child first gathers information in the form of clues, then determines what's relevant and what's not. Next, your child applies deductive reasoning skills and draws conclusions. Finally, a successful sleuth uses basic search techniques to narrow thousands of suspects down to just one. Your child will develop the underlying skills used in searching a database. These skills are critical in this information-rich age of electronic card catalogs, encyclopedias, and the Internet. Rebus Isle is filled with rebus puzzles, which are groups of letters, pictures, sounds, and animations. When these are sounded out together, they answer a riddle or provide a fun fact. As your child uses context clues to decode rebus puzzles, phonics and communication skills are sharpened. Communication is a two-way street. It's important to both understand others, and it's important to communicate clearly yourself. On Rebus Isle, your child practices both interpreting and creating messages. Using a special mode, your child can leave a rebus challenge for you, and you can leave a rebus challenge for your child. When driving the Fripple delivery van, children get to exercise many real-world navigational skills. They practice left, right, and forward, and north, south, east, and west. They also work on following directions and using a map. As they drive around town, children also begin to learn that just as in real life there's often more than one way to get there, there's also often more than one way to solve a problem. If one path doesn't work, because of a roadblock or a one-way street, there is almost always another way. Fripple Cookies offers a fun environment for children to practice some important thinking skills. First, they face a situation we've all been in. You know the result you want, but you aren't sure of the steps needed to get there. Children must work backward from a result, which is the finished cookie, to discover the sequence of steps, the recipe, that will produce that cookie.
I don't think that cookie will be exactly what the customer ordered. Maybe you should try a different recipe.
This skill, working backward, is useful in many professions. Doctors work backward from symptoms to diagnosis. Detectives work backward from evidence to reconstruct a case. Another thinking skill that children will exercise in Fripple Cookies is the guess and test approach to problem solving. Children will try out a recipe, making a guess. By watching the steps in the recipe unfold, they're testing their guess. And based on that information, they modify the recipe until they get the desired result. This guess and test approach is how scientists think when they perform experiments to test a hypothesis.
Yeah!
At the Fripple Skating Park, children explore the relationships between mathematical patterns and visual patterns. As they create designs, they begin to discover that the number patterns and sequences they select result in different visual patterns. There are many different ways that a child can enjoy this activity. Some will appreciate it from an artistic perspective, while others will love seeing the different patterns that arise from mathematical relationships. Either way, children can freely create and discover.
Could you please draw 2 flags that belong in the customer's collection and 2 that don't?
In Fripple flags, children are shown one group of objects that fit a rule and another group of objects that do not fit that rule. The challenge is to discover what the rule is. This important thinking skill, which is called rule formation, plays a key role in almost all learning. As children examine the flags, they must decide what is important and what is not, what to use and what to ignore. This skill is essential for success in our information-rich society.
In Strategy Challenges Collection 1, learn problem-solving strategies as you play Mancala, Nine Men's Morris, and Gomoku against the Strategy Masters. In the ancient game of Nine Men's Morris, once played by the Vikings, develop strategies to capture the opponent's stones one after the other by aligning 3 of your own in a row. In each of the games, the strategy coaches offer real-world videos of people using strategies in everyday situations, which can help you build a personal set of strategies to use, not only in these games, but throughout life. In Gomoku, discover 1,000-year-old strategies as you learn to use or ignore the patterns of stones on the board. The game is won when a player places 5 of their stones in a row. Learn fascinating facts about the history and cultures that surround these games with the Multimedia Game Guide. In Mancala, test your wits against a Maasai strategy master as you sow pebbles in the pits around the board and accumulate as many stones as you can in your store. Strategy Coach offers tips at critical points in a game to help you build a set of problem-solving strategies for each game.
Do you see how you can capture by playing these stones?
Strategy Challenges Collection 1. 3 classic games that offer strategy building challenges and fun.
EDMARK is committed to offering educators a wide range of products to serve students from kindergarten through 10th grade. Each product supports multiple learning scientific.
Some children are puzzled by the idea that the Earth is round. In their everyday experience, the Earth looks flat. With the day and night activity, your child can use 2 different points of view to understand day and night. From a spot on the ground, your child sees a full day go by. The sun rises, moves through the sky, and sets again. This is the familiar point of view. Your child can also see a view from space. This view allows your child to watch the same spot as it turns from darkness into sunlight and then into darkness again. This model also allows your child to see the view from Earth and the view from space at the same time. Your child can control this model to create different times of day and night around the world. This helps your child really understand what causes day and night. Having a model to manipulate can be very helpful in relating scientific concepts to everyday experience. In this activity, your child studies motion by rolling balls down ramps, using catapults to toss balls in the air, and swinging balls back and forth on pendulums. Each activity helps develop scientific thinking as your child progresses from observing one kind of movement to controlling that movement to using it to achieve a particular effect. As your child solves each challenge in this activity, he or she is experimenting the way a scientist does, changing just one variable at a time and then observing the effects of that change. You can encourage thinking like a scientist by asking your child to think out loud. Ask questions such as, "Why did you pick a heavy ball? What happened when you tried it? Why do you think that happened?" Careful observation and description lie at the heart of science. Many famous discoveries began with a scientist's eye for detail. In What Did You See? Children learn to observe and remember what they have seen. They are briefly shown scenes from nature and then asked to recall where each animal belongs in the scene. As children learn and succeed, their memory skills are sharpened. They learn to use two simple but effective memory strategies, which can be applied not only to this software, but in everyday observations of the world around us. Animals are often difficult to observe in our environment, but we can identify them by the signs they leave behind. In the animal tracking activity, your child learns to identify the tracks of different animals by observing the track's size, shape, pattern, and toe count. As your child becomes familiar with the animal tracks in this activity, try to find similar tracks with your child. You can find those tracks in your backyard or on nature walks. Ask your child to hypothesize. What was the animal doing while making the tracks? Help your child discover that science often involves observing carefully, then making good guesses or inferences about what cannot be seen. Deductive reasoning is an important part of science. In Mystery Cave, unknown objects are hidden in the darkness, and your child must identify the objects without seeing them. To do this, your child collects data on the size, shape, color, weight, texture, and smell of an object. As each object is successfully identified, your child gains experience with the scientific process of gathering data and then using this data to solve a problem. Any scientist can tell you that reading and understanding the results of other scientists' work is a valuable way to learn about science. In the Cyclopedia, kids can read about the technical details behind light, sound, and electricity in accessible language written for grades 3 to 6. Some of the pages even allow kids to do mini experiments or use animations to help children visualize a phenomenon. The Cyclopedia also allows users to add their own notes. Encourage your child to jot down science observations from experiences on the computer, in the classroom, and in everyday life. In addition to the Cyclopedia, ZAP offers over 200 science articles from the World Book Multimedia Encyclopedia. If an activity in ZAP piques an interest in a particular phenomenon, your child can go deeper into the subject using the World Book articles. Experiences with light provoke many of kids' earliest questions about science. Why do shadows happen? Where do rainbows come from? What is color? To understand light, children need to recognize it as something that is real and physical, and that can be studied with scientific thinking skills. In the laser lab, kids use a virtual laser table to experiment with rays of light. They learn laws of optics by reflecting light off mirrors, refracting it through lenses, and changing its color with filters. Kids progress from simple problems with flat mirrors to more difficult challenges with curved mirrors and lenses. Encourage your child to experiment by changing variables one at a time and observing the effects. You can help by asking some what-if questions. For example, what would happen if a white beam passed through a blue filter? Experimenting with sound and noise comes naturally to most kids. There seems to be no limit to the variety of sound.
EDMARK. Excellence in education for over 25 years.